watching out for you.
It is 5 o'clock. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeff Gianola.
I'm Emily Burris, and for Jennifer Hoff tonight. A growing frustration among Portland business owners as they try to reopen. Homeless are camped out in front of their doors. KOIN 6 first showed you some of what's going on along city streets in a report last week.
Well, today the police chief addressing some of those concerns. Lisa Balick digging deeper. She joins us live from downtown. What did you find out, Lisa?
Well, Jeff, I found out today that the city has gotten thousands of complaints just in the past couple of months about tent campers along the streets of downtown Portland, the growing number of tent campers. Now, today, the Portland Business Alliance got a chance to talk with the police chief online about this. What is the city doing, especially what is the police department doing about all this? As Portland businesses get ready to reopen, there's a lot of worry about getting customers to come back, especially with more homeless camps out front. Property crime is also up, assaults, drug dealing. It's why you're now seeing this. Increased bike and foot patrols. A 30-day experiment, says the police chief, to try and reach out to homeless campers.
While it's not an effort to specifically clean up camps, it is an effort and an outreach to address criminal behavior.
The chief said right now during the pandemic, clearing out camps is generally not allowed unless there are hazardous health condition issues. But she said officers will be letting street campers know businesses are about to reopen, and the campers will have to allow access to owners and shoppers.
The emphasis on the camps that we see is the people who are blocking the rights of way, to try to work with them to get them to move to one side or another, clean up what they can clean up, provide services, and address any criminal behavior that we may see.
Business owners who submitted email questions also wanted to know what's being done about the increase in graffiti. The chief said she's hopeful with more people about to be out in public, there'll be less tagging, with more people keeping an eye on it and reporting this type of crime as it happens. She also said officers will be making contact with business owners to see how they can help them as they reopen, to work on specific issues. But for now, city leaders say there are no plans to sweep growing homeless camps out of downtown. Now, the chief was also asked today, what about all the vacancies still within the police bureau? She said there are 60 vacant spots, and yes, she is reaching out to state police because there are expected to be budget cuts there, and there could be some state troopers who may want to come work for the Portland Police Bureau. Live in Northwest Portland, Lisa Balick, KOIN 6 News.
Well, the economic damage from the pandemic is going to last a while. Oregon state economists estimate the state will lose $10.5 billion in lost revenue over the next 5 years. Economists estimate it will take 4 to 5 years to get the employment back to where it was just a few months ago. With the expected losses, officials will need to look at all the cuts they need to make.
Tear the Band-Aid off all at once, as it were, to try to incorporate the full pain that we're going to see over the next couple of budget cycles so that policymakers can adjust to that target.
And digging deeper into the loss of revenue, about 20 to 25% of it is from the corporate tax and lottery revenue. Also, the loss of gas taxes because fewer people were driving, and the lodging tax. People were staying home. State officials say Oregon has sizable reserves which will help avoid additional damage to the economy.
The Portland City Council adopted a resolution that will help to guide the city's COVID-19 response. The goal is to ensure equity and climate action as the city looks to the future. The resolution says the crisis is highlighting racial and economic disparities that had already existed prior to the pandemic. Mayor Ted Wheeler says as the city looks to recover, leaders cannot lose sight of values. Council will regularly update the public on its COVID-19 response. This afternoon, commissioners voted on budget adjustments as the city, too, deals with a drop in revenue.
Washington and Clackamas counties are moving forward to apply for reopening. It's a different story in Multnomah County. Lindsay Nadrich joins us live with the latest. Lindsay?
Yeah, Multnomah County health officials said it really comes down to testing and contact tracing. They said they're closer to applying for reopening, but today did not announce a date for when that would happen.
We're almost there, but again, as a dense, highly populated and relatively small geographic county, population density does matter, and so I think we have a reasonable plan in place and just need more time to get some of these important components nailed down.
To apply for phase 1 reopening, counties have to show they've met all 7 reopening criteria. That includes things like a decline in COVID-19 cases, enough PPE for healthcare workers and first responders, and enough people to do contact tracing. In Multnomah County, health officials have added criteria for underserved communities that needs to be met as well. And for now, they're just not ready. Contact tracing has been one of the biggest challenges to reopening. Each county has to hire more people, so they're prepared to contain the spread of COVID-19 when new cases pop up.
It really starts with when we receive the positive report. Contact tracing starts when we do the case investigation. So within 24 hours, when we get that positive report, we need to call and interview the case and get an understanding of where they've been and who they may have exposed.
Washington County plans to submit their application on Friday with the goal of entering phase 1 by June 1st. Clackamas County applied for phase 1 reopening yesterday. I asked how that will work with neighboring Multnomah County still closed.
We've had those conversations, but I think if we're really vigilant in making sure our businesses are ready, and one of the things we want to make sure too, not only in our county but region-wide, that the success of reopening is really about all of us and everyone taking their own responsibility.
Well, if the governor approves Washington and Clackamas counties for phase 1 of reopening, that means bars, restaurants, salons, and gyms could reopen if they follow certain guidelines. But if there's an increase in COVID-19 cases during that period, it could mean we go back to staying home, which is why health officials say this really needs to be done the right way. Reporting live, I'm Lindsay Nadrich, KOIN 6 News.
A lot of tough decisions, Lindsay, thanks. Cowlitz County says it is just about ready for phase 2 of reopening after the state of Washington did not recommend it take the next step yesterday. 10 other counties were given the green light to apply for phase 2, including Clark County. Cowlitz County health officials say it's because the data the state analyzed included the tail end of an outbreak at Foster Farms. The county believes it's in a much better position now.
And if our current kind of trends hold, we anticipate that, we'll be able to be eligible for the variance. We'll move into phase 2 and we'll focus on entering phase 2 safely for our residents.
County health officials believe Cowlitz will be eligible Sunday if there are no more cases reported.
Health officials are considering using phones and other devices to track the spread of the virus in Washington. However, there are concerns about how useful it will actually be. Microsoft and the University of Washington developed COVID Safe. It uses Bluetooth technology to keep a log of where users go and how long they were close to other people who also use that app.
I would be very happy to walk into, say, Trader Joe's and have everyone be using it.
Now, in Australia, more than 5.8 million people have downloaded COVID Safe in just the last month. However, health officials say they're not really sure how to integrate the data it collects into other contact tracing data, so it's really not being utilized yet.
Well, many coastal cities say they are not ready to open up to tourists yet, but hotels and Airbnbs along the coast are reopening on Monday. So the question is, can tourists book a weekend stay at the beach? Our Travis Tyke is getting answers tonight. Travis?
Yeah, Emily, in short, it really just depends on where you choose to go along the coast, if a certain city is open or if it's not. And it also may depend on if you're deciding to respect a city's request to stay away until they're prepared to handle an influx of tourists.
We're preparing for everyone and can't wait to have all of our guests back.
With every Oregon coastal county in phase 1 of the reopening process, some coastal cities are allowing rental homes and hotels to reopen in the coming weeks. In Tillamook County, lodging can open up Friday, May 29th. Amy Van Dyke owns and operates Sunset Vacation Rentals in Manzanita. She says she's going to open up quickly, but carefully.
We're all ready for people to come here and start spending their money in our towns, and we're just asking that not everybody and their dog come, all at once.
Once a county is approved for phase 1, the decision for hotels and rental homes to reopen is largely on the city. For example, in Cannon Beach, homes and hotels can open as soon as next Tuesday, May 26th. The co-general manager of Surf Sand Resort says they're opening at full capacity while implementing several new cleaning and sanitizing guidelines for their staff.
We're in ramp-up mode. We're getting the house 100% back into order above and beyond where it was before.
Just down the road at Seaside, the beach may be open but lodging remains closed.
We definitely don't have an open invitation right now. I think we're cautious, but we're optimistic. We don't want to go backwards in this thing. The city of Seaside is still under a state of emergency.
Now, Seaside may be closed, but they are actually holding a virtual city council meeting tonight at 7 o'clock to discuss what the future of lodging may be in the town. We are going to put a link to that stream on our website, KOIN.com. Reporting in downtown Portland, Travis Tyke, KOIN 6 News.
Okay, Travis, thanks for clearing up some of that confusion. A famous Northeast Portland business closing its doors for good. Geneva's Sheer Perfection was the premier barbershop and beauty salon in Portland's Black community. It's been on Northeast MLK for nearly 30 years. Many famous people have been there, from athletes to entertainers. Geneva's owner, Paul Knowles, says the COVID-19 pandemic makes it impossible to keep it feeling like a community.
The new restrictions that they put on salons and beauty shops and businesses, it's just too much for an old person, you know. And it's time to go. It's time to go.
You know, Knowles was also a longtime nightclub owner who's known as the mayor of Northeast Portland. A great person. Ken Boddy will have more on Paul Knowles and Geneva's on Monday's Where We Live segment. Stay with KOIN 6 as we all get through the coronavirus pandemic together. We have great resources available at KOIN.com. You'll find a section dedicated to the facts and stay updated on the current advice for the community where you live. It's all at KOIN.com.
KOIN 6 is your local election headquarters, and we're keeping an eye on the results from Tuesday's Oregon primary. Voters approved the Metro homeless tax. Measure 26210 will raise billions of dollars by taxing couples earning more than $200,000 and adding a 1% tax on large businesses. It looks like voters in Beaverton approved a change to its city charter. It's leading with 54% of the vote. It adds 2 city council positions and switches to a city manager-run government. And Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler is leading the race to hold on to his seat, but he needs to reach the threshold of 50% to avoid a runoff. He's less than 1% shy of that right now.